Can you have that same reverence? Can you have that same trust? Can you still have that unshakable foundation in yourself and in God when nothing in your life makes sense? When you're in the darkness, when you're in the unknown, can you still hold it? And the word power is coming to mind right now as we're talking about this. I think that 2023 was really about becoming activated in power, in personal power, becoming self sourced, where welcome back to the Shadow Priestess Embodied. I'm your host, Kaylin Rakowski, and thank you for joining me today for another deep dive and exploration into your inner world, into your body, the shadow realms, where we will begin to explore some of these esoteric principles and really begin to drop them down into modern day application and embodiment. This is a sacred place where you can begin to truly meet yourself, meet your medicine, and to meet your magic. This is a place of remembrance. Take a deep breath and let's begin. Welcome back, beautiful people. So today I'm going to do a little solo podcasting and really speak to just an energetic update or what I'm sensing and feeling into, what my guides have been sharing with me, and just some of the conversations I've been having with my private clients behind the scenes. So, as you guys know, because I've spoke about it time after time again, 2023 really was a year of initiation. It was a year of being in the depths, being in the mystery, really learning to navigate the unknown. And it's been really challenging for so many people close to me in my world. It's like we all were going through this massive just reconfiguration where so many of, our false identities began to fall away, our programmings, relationships, jobs, just like I just seen so many things essentially just blowing up, which caused a lot of fear in the field, right? A lot of people who don't have a lot of sovereignty went into panic, went into depression, and you know, this was divinely ordained. And I know it was very uncomfortable to sit with and to be in, but the message essentially that I was getting was that the initiation phase is over. Like the storm is clearing. And right now it's almost like you're in that space in between where it's like the old yous fell away and the new you hasn't fully taken shape, but the initiation is over. Like the worst of it is over. And I feel that right now, collectively and energetically, we are being so supported from the higher realms, from the inner planes, where there was almost like the sense of like fog or veil that is being cleared and is being lifted, and more of us are activating our soul gifts. Our soul missions are coming online where we're getting these energetic upgrades that are truly needed to as I'm saying that, are truly needed for us to step into the full potency and capacity of our leadership, of our expression, and just what we're here to do. And it's like I've noticed too, like so many of us have begun to feel this energetic shift where maybe we can't really name it, and maybe there's nothing on the physical yet to support this, but it's like you feel that something is coming, right? It's like you're excited. It's like you're waking up on Christmas morning. It's like you don't know what you're going to unwrap or what's going to be gifted to you, but it's this deep sense of safety and trust that things are changing and something big is happening. I'm wondering if any of you can feel into that right now. If any of you have been in this phase of just darkness, of unknown, but just feel this like kind of brisk of fresh air. And what my guides were really showing me is that I'm really sensing like April, March, that something big is going to happen. And it's interesting enough that April and March were the time frames being shown to me, because in our ancient systems and times, this is really symbolic of the new year, right? Where the seeds are planted, things are starting to really like bloom, things are really happening. And um, I thought that was just kind of interesting, especially because I'm someone who works with the seasons and the cyclical nature of the feminine. So I thought that was interesting that the time frame that they were giving me, that things are really going to start picking up and you're going to start really bearing the fruits, will be in the spring. And I just feel that, and what was coming out too, and I'm not huge with astrology, so maybe this is for somebody who needs an extra confirmation or sign that this message is for them specifically. When I was receiving this download, I was really receiving it around earth signs and fire signs. Now, this isn't to say that this doesn't apply to you if you're not one of those, but I would just say if one of those are in your big three, being your rising, your sun, or your moon, then maybe pay a little extra attention to what I'm saying. Because for so many of us, we've been in these like 15, 20-year cycles of career, of love, of our just expression. And it's like the tides have shifted. Like everything is beginning to turn, to recalibrate, and really begin to work in our favor. And not that the universe isn't always working in our favor, but I feel that for so many of us who have had these big dreams and these big visions and almost feeling like, you know, is this really going to happen for me? And feeling like you almost want to give up are going to start bearing the fruits and be gifted with just abundance and opportunities and just like the floodgates are opening, is what Spirit is saying. The floodgates are opening, and can you hold that power and that knowing and that excitement and just being in that pure, like longing of that without having the evidence? Can you stay in that pure, just desire of it without getting into scarcity or lack or survival? Because it's really the people who have begun to learn to navigate these liminal spaces, who have begun to become so unshakable in the unknown that are going to be just reaping the benefits in tenfold. It's almost like the initiation was like, can you go through the darkness and create these new reference points? Right? Like, how deep are you willing to surrender? How deep are you willing to trust us? And it's like, the larger the capacity to be in the unknown, to trust and to just hold yourself in these spaces, it's like on the other side, it's like this beautiful inverse reaction of the gifts, of the rewards, of the upgrades, the activations, whatever you want to call it, that are coming your way. So if you have been someone who just feels like it's been just a year of initiations or a phase of darkness or, a series of unfortunate events, please know that like this is only temporary and there is something so much bigger trying to come into your life. But for that to happen, we have to have this space. And human beings are funny in a way that typically we won't move until something is so incredibly painful. you know, we won't leave the relationship, we won't leave the job, we won't make the changes we need until it's hitting on a pain point where it's almost like, God, the universe is forcing you to take action. And I feel that for some of us who had such, you know, an activating year, a difficult year, it is so much to do with us not being willing to let go of the things that God was asking us to let go of. And, a question I always like to ask my clients, it's like, what are you pretending not to know? What are you pretending not to know? And I really want you to sit with that, because so many times in our lives, it's like we know the things that we need to do and we know the changes we need to make, but we hesitate to, or we fail to, because it's like the unknown seems so much scarier and bigger to us, and we believe it's going to be worse than what we have. And it's like we rather stay in a familiar prison than go into the unknown and it possibly be better than we have ever dreamed of. And I think that's why so many of us had stayed stagnant this last year or leading up to whatever initiation you're going through. And for me personally, you guys, like I went through it in spades. I lost my dad, which was really hard. I think I've shared that on the podcast, or I know I've shared that with you guys on the podcast. And, I stepped away from a job that I thought was like my dream job, and just, going through a phase of motherhood again. And not that it was my first time, right? Like I've been a mommy before. Um, but again, it's like a whole new identity in that. And I think that when we're grasping to try to create or name something, or even who we are when we're in the midst of initiation, it's always going to be undercooked, or it's always going to be, how do I want to put this? It's never going to be the full capacity or potency that it could be in if you truly just would surrender and allow the death to take place. If you allowed the gestation to fully take place, right? Because I think so many of us, and me included, I'm not on a hierarchy here or a high horse. We get impatient, right? We get sick of things being uncomfortable. We get in our little, egotistical human bodies where we want the thing and we want it now. And we rush creation. We rush where God is trying to guide us to go. But it's like, when you look at your life and you look at everything that has taken place for you, and every step and every turn and every pivot has led you to where you are right now, it's also trusting that like God has a plan for you, and where you are right now is perfect. And even if it doesn't feel perfect, or doesn't feel necessarily where you want it to be, sometimes the best medicine is bitter. And I do believe that our soul, especially when we're going through an initiation process, it has different layers or unveilings that have to take place, right? For you to truly become the fullest emanation or the full radiance of your essence, of your expression, to get the gifts and the tools you need to show up and to be who you're here to be. It's like, it's part of like the lessons, it's part of the school, it's part of the preparation for that. But it's the judgment that this is wrong, right? When the abundance is coming, when the love is coming, when things are going how you think you want them to, it's really easy to trust God. It's really easy to trust yourself. But what 2023 really taught me, and I think what it was here to teach most of us who are going through this and who this message is really for, it's like, can you have that same reverence? Can you have that same trust? Can you still have that unshakable foundation in yourself and in God when nothing in your life makes sense? When you're in the darkness, when you're in the unknown, can you still hold it? And the word power is coming to mind right now as we're talking about this. I think that 2023 was really about becoming activated in power, in personal power, becoming self sourced, where you are really the source of safety. You are the source of joy, right? You are the source of abundance. You are the source of love. It's like you really taking ownership of your life, you really taking radical responsibility of your life. And it's like the people who have gone through this and have really been faced with this and really have been integrating this and turning this into embodied wisdom are the people who this message is for, because we don't realize that even when we're in these phases of our lives where we feel like nothing is happening, everything is happening. Everything is happening. And like this physical reality is such a small, minute just piece of the whole puzzle, and of what is really taking, or what is really happening like behind the scenes and like taking shape and form for you. And that's why I think so many of us right now are having this feeling, right? It's like that sixth sense. We're tapping into that, like, oh, wait, like energetically, like I feel different. Nothing in my life looks different, but I feel different. And can I play with that a little bit? And just really feeling that like things are truly shifting. And I think if you can hold the space of possibility and to be in the excitement and to be in that phase where it's like, it's almost like you're expecting miracles, you are the people who are going to start receiving them versus staying in this heavy state of survival, of scarcity, right? Just trying to get by, where 2023 was really inviting us multi-dimensional women, the mystics, the healers, right? Into more, right? Into a complete recalibration to more, a reclamation of more of your expression, more of your truth, more of your gifts, more of who you came here to be. And were you willing to create space for that? Were you willing to let go of this false sense of safety, familiarness, comfortability to make room for more? And let me just tell you that more is coming. The people who have been on their knees with God, the people who feel like they've created the space and they could not surrender an ounce more, like, trust me, I was bantering with God. I'm like, how much more, God? Like, how much more do you want me to surrender? And they're like, you just need to trust. You need to trust. Just like everything has always worked out for you, just like everything has always led you to something bigger, something greater, to something deeper in alignment, that is coming, that more is coming. And like I was saying before, it's like the larger this space has been of unknown, of fogginess, of confusion, it's like the bigger the recalibration is taking place. And if you have been feeling this sense of like there's like these veils or fogs on you, the message that I was getting from my guides that prompted this is that like the initiation is over. The veils are lifted. The fog is being cleared, and you are going to start getting the clarity. You are going to start getting the opportunities. You are going to start receiving, these experiences, relationships, like gifts that essentially seem to come out of nowhere. But are you in the state of receptivity? Are you in the state of just expecting a miracle? Are you in the state of just being in the longing, of being in the pulsating, being in the juiciness of your desire? Because it's the more that you can calibrate and be in that frequency when you're in the unknown, when you're in the uncertainty, that literally magnetizes everything into your reality. And it's going to be things that your conscious mind, your ego, your identity can't even dream of. And that's how you know that it's truly soul led, that it's soul aligned, right? When it's not your human that's in the driver's seat, when it's almost like this magical unfolding that takes place where you're like, how the hell did that even happen? How did that even happen? Right? It invites you into something that you didn't even know you wanted because it's so much bigger, because it's more. So, for my lovely, beautiful soul family who has just been in the trenches, who've been in the trenches with me, who feels like this rebirth, who feels like this transformation is never ending, I want you to know that better days are coming. That what lies ahead for you is so much greater than anything that you left behind. And can you just get into the pure embodiment or frequency of that desire, of that longing, of safety, of joy, of pleasure, and get into the receptivity mode, because more is coming. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of the Shadow Priestess Embodied podcast. I love you guys. I love my listeners. I love this podcast, and I can't wait to deliver more juicy episodes for you through 2024. And if you are a feminine essence being who is really looking to unlock more of your leadership, more of your power, more of your pleasure, more of your expression, then please check out my free masterclass, Feminine Codes, where I dive deep into what we truly need to unlock to step into the full capacity, the full potency, and just the unruly nature of our leadership. Click the link in my show notes.